Welcome to Speaking of Adoption, where we dive into the heart of adoption, sharing real stories, breaking down myths, and shining a light on how adoption can be done with love, integrity, and respect. Whether you're a birth parent, adoptive family, adoptee, or just someone who wants to learn more, this is a space for honest conversations and meaningful connections. Join us as we explore the beautiful, complex, and life-changing world of ethical adoption. Let's get started. Hey everyone, today we are sitting down with two incredible women, both social workers from our agency, who walk alongside birth moms during some of the most emotional, complex, and courageous moments of their lives. They're not just professionals, they're compassionate listeners, fierce advocates, and steady hands in the storm. In this episode, we will talk about what it means to truly support birth moms, the moments that have stayed with them over the years, and how their work shapes both the lives of the women they serve and their own. I'm so excited for you guys to see some of the heart behind our agency. So let's get started.
Welcome, Summer and Millie. Maybe just introduce yourselves and tell us how long you have been at the agency.
Okay, I'm Summer Morris, and I have been, oh my gosh, it's almost been 15 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my oldest kids are turning 16, and they were almost 1. So almost 15 years
That's
now.
a nice way to track it.
Yeah, I know. That's how I remember, honestly.
I do too.
That's how I go by my kids, but I love it. It's amazing. And yeah, almost 15 years.
Wow, that's a...
My name's Millie Taylor. I'm newer. I think this is my 6th year, maybe going on. No, I think this is 6 years.
That's still a long time.
So it is. It is a long time. But it's been great. I love it. Going to newer anytime soon.
I
So
love that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What brought you guys into this line of work?
social work.
Yes.
I mean, personally, I've always liked interacting with people, working with people, talking, hearing their stories. Everybody's got such a different background. I love learning about it. And then I've just always been drawn to a helping profession. Just like to be with people. So yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, I was in private practice for about 8 years before coming to a guardian angel. And I loved it. I loved private practice. And that is something that I thoroughly enjoyed. And it was wonderful. But it has a little bit of a different schedule in terms of when somebody wants to meet with you, they need to meet with you. And when my family changed and the adjustment of our family life changed, I thought there's no way I can do private practice anymore. And so this was a blessing to come into my world of being able to do and do this work and work for a guardian angel. And awesome.
That is awesome.
And my own personal experience. My husband and I experienced fertility issues in our personal life. And so adoption was always on our minds as an option for us to expand our family. And so I knew I would work with adoption someday, just whether it was personal or whether it was professional. So
I just knew there was some connection for you to adoption.
Great.
You just didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So she kind of already answered it, but what was your draw to specifically working with women who were considering adoption?
I just would think or say adoption is just all about love. And that's kind of what drew me in. It's love for the baby. Everybody's trying to come together and provide the best opportunity for the baby. And so I love that aspect of it. And then I guess kind of what I've already said is just working with different backgrounds, with different people, and getting to know, different life experiences.
Yeah, awesome. So what, a lot of people don't know or are a little nervous of the title social worker. I think especially a lot of expectant moms, right? So what does your typical day look like working with expectant moms?
From the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
So I could talk about our meetings.
Sure.
Okay. So the first visit, it's called a social summary. It's kind of just getting to know them, their background. We talk about physical health, anything genetic, any complications that they have. Then we talk about mental health, any diagnoses, if they're in counseling, if they're on prescription medication, things like that. We touch on substance abuse in the past or present, and just kind of have a conversation, getting to know them better. We also talk about what they want in a family. So, their characteristics that they're looking for in an adoptive family. Is that kind of the first visit?
Yeah, their experience.
It's mostly just a conversation.
Yeah, it is. It's just kind of understanding who they are and where they came from and why they chose adoption.
And it helps us match them with the family. So we use that information for matching. And then, second visit, we talk about, we do some more paperwork. We talk about,
That's what I always say is
there's
I'm
a lot
like,
of paperwork.
hi, I'm the paperwork person.
There's a lot, adoption, there's a lot of paperwork, but with the agency, Guardian Angel, they make sure that everything is legal, and that just comes with paperwork, as we make sure that everything's documented and that they understand what they're signing and why. So that's really, really important.
So much.
A lot of paperwork for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
But with the paperwork, we talk about their hospital plan. Do they want in the delivery room? Do they want an epidural? Do they want medication for pain? Things like that, just to kind of understand what they want for the hospital. And then we'll talk about what kind of an adoption they would like. Do they want an open adoption? Do they want a semi-open? Do they want a closed? And we'll go into detail about what those mean. And then one visit, we talk about grief and loss, how they've handled grief in the past, what that looks like for them, what coping skills they've used to help get through difficult times. That's just kind of, check in how they're feeling toward the adoption, answer any questions about that. And then I guess our last visit would be the relinquishment review, where we review the paperwork that they'll sign in the hospital. So just making sure that they understand what they're going to be signing before it actually comes time to sign.
And all the legal terminology that comes with that paperwork. It's a lot.
It's a
It can be
lot.
overwhelming.
Yeah. And we want to make sure that they know they can speak with a lawyer if they want, and it says do not sign this without reading it. So we read it word for word and then just go over all the other paperwork. I would say that's mostly our check-ins, but I've had birth moms that want to meet every week. And so we
I was going
provide
to
that.
ask. So there's
Yeah.
3 required. 4 required meetings with them, and then if they want to see you outside of that,
Oh, yeah.
We're always available.
Yeah, text, FaceTime, in person, whatever they need. And so, I've had birth moms that, every Thursday at 11 we meet, and it's just, continues throughout their care. And that's just personal preference by the birth mom. Some birth moms are pretty closed off, and that's okay. And they, just want to be more independent, and that's their right as well. So just whatever support they need, we're pretty flexible with our schedule.
Sometimes I think that the title of social worker, and my title is I'm a CMHC, so a clinical mental health counselor, but I think that title sometimes can be very daunting, because a lot of our birth moms will come from experiences where they've had experiences with the social worker from
so negative.
CPS or from DCFS, and that has been so negative for them, for their families, for friends that they've had experiences with in their own personal lives. And I think sometimes that title can be pretty scary for them. Like, what are you here for?
That
What are you going to
trust is not
do?
there.
And it kind of can put up a wall sometimes right from the get-go of just that title. And so I think we really try and, introduce ourselves as we're an adoption counselor working with you through this process, through this journey, so that we can be here to support you and provide that kind of the resources that are necessary to make everything, like Millie said, to make everything go exactly as needed for the attorneys in a legal perspective, for our adoptive families, for our agency, and making sure that they are in the best possible care that they can be in.
And to know that they're in charge, it's their journey.
Yes.
It's different. It's not, we have the structure set up, so we make sure that we do what we have to do legally, but it's very catered to every birth mom. And every
Always.
birth mom is very different, and their needs are always different.
and they probably you probably gain their trust in different. Some of them you might not ever gain their trust, and some of them it's more natural.
I think it's if they've been, burned or, by
they
a
have more of
social
a
worker,
guard
or
up.
came in to take kids away, or,
Yeah.
in a negative experience in their life, then they don't trust us right away. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just a process like any relationship. And I really feel like that is my role is trying to really create a relationship with them that is genuine and honest and true and trusting. And, we're here to support them through their adoption journey. It's their plan. It's their journey. And we're the support role behind, helping them through that. It's not something that, is a cookie cutter thing. Like I mentioned before, my husband and I had fertility problems. I remember going to a hospital, and it was I felt like here's the problem. So cookie cutter, here's what we do. Kind of. And because of my experience with that personally, I felt like I never want to do that in my work ever. And so being able to make sure that our birth moms feel that it is so personal, their care is personal. And so whatever they need, if they want to visit every week, like Millie said, wonderful.
Yep.
If they only want to see us the 4 times, wonderful. It's really up to them. I never want them to feel pressured to talk with us or visit with us and make it feel uncomfortable for them. Always just want to make sure that they are 100% comfortable and in a relationship with them that is honest and genuine. I've heard so many of our birth moms, they'll tell me, I've never had people care for me the way that you guys do.
Because we are caring about their emotional needs. Yeah, and they've just never experienced that.
Well, I think so many people have backgrounds where they've been abused or used, or people want something from them.
Yeah.
And I think coming here, I mean, we're an adoption agency, so many of them may come with the perception of, you want my baby and that's it. And that's the end result. Whereas it's like, no, we're here for you too. Like, this is something that it's a process, and there's so many different pieces involved, so many different people involved, that and the reason why we do that is so that you get the most important proper care that you can have, and not just because the end result is an adoption, but because of you and how important they are to us.
And more life skills too along the way, like
trying to set them up for success.
Yeah, when they go home, so go back to their life, they have something to build on. And so a lot of our birth moms will go to school online while they're here, and we'll help them get that set up, and driver's license. I mean, all sorts of things come up where it's more success for the future. It's not just about the adoption.
Yes. What are some things, like, when you tell people, like, say a stranger on the street is like, what do you do for work? And you tell them you work with birth moms at an adoption agency. What are some of the most common misconceptions?
I always get that must be so hard.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, it comes with challenges, the emotional challenge, but it's,
which you probably get being a social worker.
for sure.
Anyway.
Yeah, it comes with the job. Yeah, it's, it's a lot of reflecting and self-care after the fact, for us. But misconceptions,
I think the biggest thing that whenever I tell people, because a lot of people that know like what my job is, like my title is or whatever, they know that I've worked in private practice before. And so then they're like, well, what do you do now? And I'll say I work with an adoption agency. And it's so funny to me how many people are like, oh, really? Like, it's
so negative.
Yeah, like it's a very negative thing. Like, oh, really? Oh, is there a lot of young teenage girls?
that's
My
right.
number one.
Yeah. Yes.
And then, it just breaks my heart, because I'm thinking, no, these women that come know exactly what they're doing. They're not being blindsided by cultural or societal norms or whatever it is, or even parental influence. They know what they're doing. They come here, they're choosing this plan for their family. They are smart, they're intelligent, they've survived and worked through so much stuff in their life. And I think that to me is the misconception that is the hardest for me to hear, is the misconceptions they have about birth moms.
Yeah.
Not just adoption in general, but specific maybe prejudices or judgmental things about birth moms. And I'm like, unless you have walked through this process with them and watched their love and watched the sacrifice that they make, there is, you don't get to say.
And you don't know their story. They don't know where they're coming from. And like I said at the beginning, Drawn to Adoption is because it is about love. It's, they're placing their baby for adoption to give the baby a better life that they're unable to provide at this point. And what selfless love is that? I mean, it's the ultimate selfless act of love. So
absolutely.
There's just so many negative stigmas around adoption that people are just uneducated.
People like to
really, it's mostly just not being educated on what's really going on,
Yeah.
So how do you guys walk with birth moms through that grief or fear when they are here and making their adoption plan?
I mean, just open heart, open mind.
I think my biggest thing that I really try and do is help them see that it is, that grief and loss experience that we have with them, and discussion that we really try and make sure that we have with them is so important, because I think so many people may see that as oh, well, it's not a loss, nobody died. And I'm thinking, well, but there's lots of other losses that you've experienced in your life. A loss of a relationship or a friendship, a loss of, a goal or anything that you've had. And those are the same types of feelings. Our brains perceive them the same way as if it was an actual death or something like that. And so
you're still grieving.
I think you're still grieving those things, and you still have an expectation of what you thought might happen. And I think as we walk through those experiences with them and really listen and just make it very personal for them, and make sure that they understand that you may experience things. I always try and make sure that I say that it's not you will, like these are the stages of grief and you're going to hit all 5 of them. They may not, but that what they may experience, I think is really important to reiterate to them is you might experience some of these things, and it's not a linear, from start to end. Grief is a cyclical thing.
Yes.
It is something that it will go back and it will go forward, and it will not necessarily have an ending point. So I really try and emphasize to them how important it is to get to a feeling of peace. Not happiness.
That acceptance stage is the goal. And, it might take a long time to get there.
Yeah. Because acceptance, I always tell them, I'm like, I don't like the word acceptance. So many of my birth moms laugh at me when I say that, because I'm like, I don't like that word, because to me, accept means that you're taking it in and you are okay with it. And I'm like, you may not be okay with it. You may not be okay with it. You may not be happy with it ever, but you can find peace. And so I always try and change the word acceptance to acknowledge. If you can acknowledge how you feel and you're aware, those are my 2 favorite words that I replace acceptance with, is be aware and acknowledge how you're feeling. And so that to me is how I try and really walk them through and be there with them through that, is acknowledge how you're feeling every moment of this journey. And you can share those with me, or you don't have to. It's okay. But whatever you need to do, if it's writing, if it's journaling, if it's writing a letter to the baby or to the adoptive family, if it's talking out loud to somebody back home, or, to one of us, or they're amazing caseworkers that they have with the guardian angel too. They have that opportunity to have somebody that will listen and that will be there with them. But it really is step by step, letting them choose what they're ready to maybe face and be in front of. So many of them come and they just want to pretend that this is just not real. Until the very end. And then it's so hard. So I think our job is really, can we help you walk through it every step of the way?
So do you feel like you guys focus a lot on preparing them for those emotions that are going to come?
We try just to validate that every feeling is okay. What they're feeling is okay. If it's sadness, if it's anger, if it's guilt, if it's, some relief, at some point, every emotion that they feel is valid and it's okay and it's normal. And I think a lot of time it's I shouldn't be feeling this way. And no, there's not a right or wrong way to feel, and there's not a right or wrong way to grieve. And everybody's different, and it's individual, and how they process it and move forward is okay. And we're just here to support that and facilitate those conversations and have those hard conversations.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so important.
So I think we try and prepare them as best we can, but then there's the hormones and a lot of stuff that comes up that you can't plan for. But
we do
I
our
think
best.
even that is I really try and help them remember that you may feel this way, at our discussion, if we were talking about what kind of open use do you want to have, or what do you want to have happen at the hospital. That's even could be a month or 2 before delivery. And I always tell them that's okay if it changes, and it probably will. Even at the hospital, you may change your thoughts and your feelings as far as what you want and how involved you want to be with the baby or the adoptive family, and that's okay. I always those are the 2 things I say, is there's not a good or bad, and there's not a right or wrong. It's what you choose.
And you can change your mind last minute. If you say, I don't want to spend time with the baby in the hospital, okay, you decide you do want to spend time, that's totally fine. It's not set in stone. It's just the paperwork is a starting point. So we know how you're feeling, how to get, make sure that you get what you need. It can be, changed. And it is oftentimes, they want more contact with the baby or more contact with the family. Sometimes they're I don't want to meet the family at all. And then, okay, I do want to meet the family. Great.
It's awesome.
We make it happen.
So speaking of changing their minds, what does it look like when birth moms decide, when they change their mind and they decide to parent? How do you guys support them through that, no matter what?
I think the hard thing is a lot of time that decision comes, right after delivery, or right when their body is, almost animalistically, feeling like they need to take care and nurture their baby, which is normal. And you can't, rip that away from them. That's hormonal. It's biological. It's what they're feeling. And so that decision is really hard, because I think it's hard for them to even separate out, biologically, logically, Like what like, is it biology that I'm feeling? Is it logic that I'm feeling? And so we, you know, really try, and unfortunately I feel like we sometimes are the second person that gets told, but sometimes it's often their caseworker that's with them at the hospital that is kind of like, they share those feelings. And so then automatically Millie and I will respond and make sure that we can talk with them too about those feelings, and just kind of remind them like what I always ask, like, what was the reason that you chose adoption in the first place? Can you kind of share those thoughts with me, and how that has changed your thinking now? And but obviously it's 100% support too. Like it's never a,
no one's upset, no one's mad. It's not, it's their decision at the end.
If they're able to parent, like, that's amazing.
Yes.
Like we would want that.
Yes.
For everyone.
And that's not,
involved.
our job is not to make the decision for them. Our job is just to support them throughout. And if it ends up that they are able to parent, like you said, great. And it's not, they're not in trouble, no one's mad.
No one's,
We just want at the end what's best for you, what's best for your baby, and just trusting that she is making the best choice for her and her baby. And if that's parenting, then we support that. And if that's placing, then of course we support that. So
I think that's another misconception, like we talked about at the beginning, is kind of on both ends. Like sometimes it's, feels like, oh, well, you, again, like you're just forcing them into placing whatever you can do, whatever you guys can do as an agency to get them to, place their baby. That's your goal. And I'm like, that is absolutely not.
There's no
goal.
tricks. There's no,
of anything, like the transparency and honesty about like what we want for them is
you don't want them to be blindsided by all the emotions coming and everything.
Never. Yeah. So I think, no matter what, support for them, and I think what we really try and do is, okay, let's logically talk through this. What are you able to do? What are you able to provide? And how will this work? And kind of like almost be their inner voice for them a lot of the time once they're kind of like questioning placing or parenting. Whether that's in the beginning or the middle or even the end of their journey, it's the same. It's kind of like, let's logistically kind of talk through this a little bit, just so that they can do that. Because again, there's this other side that is biological, like wanting them to do something different. And so I think it's really hard for them to really separate that. And so I think we really try and be that inner voice for them and just provide an outside perspective that, okay, let's talk through that. Again, not in a coercive or a manipulative way by any means, but just as a way of, let's talk through that.
Yeah, it's in a realistic way. Like, so what, right now it's you and the baby in the hospital. And that's all you're thinking about or worried about. What does it look like in a month? What does it look like in 6 months? What is it having a newborn? Maybe you have a toddler or something already. What does that look like in a year? Financially, emotionally, and just kind of having that conversation, that open conversation.
It's freeing, I think, for them to really be able to like say it out loud too.
Yeah, and it could go either way. It could be like, I'm thinking this through and I could be successful with this. Or it could be, I'm thinking this through and you're right, my life is not in a place that this baby.
Well, and we make sure that they're aware of, government and financial assistance. We cover that, make sure that they're aware of what is available.
What
we talk about
are there
food stamps, Medicaid, CHIP, medical insurance. We talk about all that, so it's not like you don't have any resources. We make sure that they're aware, and I would say most of them are aware of resources, if not 100% are aware of resources. But we still, that is part of also our conversation is, hey, you have the right to parent or to place for adoption. If you parented, here are some resources that are available to you.
Yeah, I think people think we don't do that.
I agree.
So
that's another.
And I think that's illegal. Is that a legal requirement, or is that just something our agency does? We for sure do every time.
Yeah,
but
always.
As part of our. But hopefully it's a legal requirement across the board. It should be, because like nothing in adoption should be secret or hidden. It should be very open and transparent. And I tell the birth moms, don't sign anything if you don't feel comfortable signing it. Like, let's talk it through. Let's make sure you understand what we're asking, why we're asking it, what you're signing.
Good.
And we're just here for, we get a lot of questions. And if I don't know the answer, then we've got a great support team with guardian angel that I know will get back to me.
Find the answer.
Yeah, and find the answer and work together as a team.
And attorneys, if it's a legal
Attorney,
question that
yeah.
we can't answer legally, you know, that
Yeah.
we have that resource for us as well.
Yep, and the attorney could talk directly with the birth moms if they wanted. I mean, it should be as open
which
as
is
possible.
That's happened too.
Yeah, and we want them to do that. We want them to understand exactly what's going on, what they're signing, what they're doing.
Yep.
We want them to ask all those questions.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's why I always say that too to them is that ask as many questions. No question is a dumb question. Ask as many questions as you have. Ask it over and over and over again, because we want to make sure you
Better
understand
to know
everything.
now than find out later that you misunderstood something or whatever.
Yeah.
So, okay, how do you guys care for yourselves emotionally when you're holding so much space for such deep pain and love every day with these women?
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I like exercise too. I always have to work out every day. That's so important for sure. But I am like, as I've gotten older, sadly, I've realized I kind of am like more of a homebody. I used to be like super social and like to be out, and that was kind of my release. But I find that I would even kind of like, I used to tell my husband a lot of things, now obviously without, breaking any confidentiality or anything like that. But I would tell him like experiences that I've had. But I've noticed even the more that I've been with the agency, the less and less that I do share, even with him. And I just like I love that you said holding space, because I really just take in their experiences. But I guess and really put myself in their situation of like, how can I love them the very best way that they need to be loved? Because every one of them is so different. And so for me, my self-care comes from like internalizing a little bit of like what their experience is, and then releasing it through exercise, or releasing it through watching a movie, or releasing it through, just a good Netflix binge or something that I can do. But I think physically, I love the exercise. And then I think emotionally, I just really try and It's funny to say that, because I think a lot of professionals would probably be like, Summer, that is bad that you're doing that. You always learn about.
You're not supposed to internalize.
Yes, like you can't hold it in. But I don't know. I think because this work is so personal, because I didn't do that when I was working with my private practice office years ago. I didn't do that. I would always release. But with these moms over the years, I think I just really personalize their experience, and I take them in and think about them and what it is like for them. And so it is.
We have so much interaction with them. We just get to know them. It's maybe more personal than just meeting a client, every now and then. And it's like, we know them, we know their story, and at least we try to, and get to know them. But I would say same thing, exercise. I like to go to yoga and just kind of clear my head that way. And I'll find myself when I'm driving home, like on the way to work, I'll listen to my podcast, listen to music, and on the way home, it's silent.
Yeah.
And I just kind of, and I'll be like, I won't even notice. And I'll be halfway home, be like, oh, I'm not listening to anything,
That's true.
And I just kind of sit and think about, what they said and our interaction and what they need, and then think of questions that I need to address, that they had. So I'm the same kind of way, kind of sitting quiet.
Yeah.
Did they teach you like coping things like that in school?
Through school? Oh yeah, for sure.
And the importance of self-care. And I feel like every time I go to a
Burnout
conference,
happens if you don't.
Yeah, there's always a section. So we have to do continuing ed every year. There's always things on burnout and how to take care of yourself and the importance of it, because you can't just give. And that's what I tell the moms too. It's like, you got to take care of yourself. And you that's number one is that self-care.
And we have an amazing team. Like Millie's awesome. If I need to talk to her,
we
then I
can
will.
bounce off each other.
And all the case managers are amazing. And
very supportive.
Everyone involved. Our director is fantastic. Like everyone that works with our adoptive families, like we have an amazing team at our Guardian Angel. So,
are there any specific birth moms or stories that have stuck with you guys over 15 years or 6 years that without, being confidential, not sharing names or anything? Is there any?
I had one memory sticks out, and it's such a positive way. It was one of my very first relinquishment signings. So that's relinquishment is the paperwork that the birth mom signs in the hospital after delivery. It's the relinquish of parental rights. So it's pretty emotional. It can be intense and emotional for the family and for the birth mom, but one experience I had at the very beginning, I didn't know kind of what to expect. And our signing was done, and the adoptive couple came in And the birth mom was there and the baby was there, and they just stood up and they just embraced, and they were, crying, happy tears, or, maybe some sad tears too, but the embrace and the amount of love, it was just really special and unique. And I thought, wow, what a cool experience, because there's a lot of pain there, but a lot of happiness and a lot of love. And they the three of them just sat and held each other. And I thought it was just beautiful. I think about that a lot.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think some of my, it has been a long time. And so when I was thinking about that question, I just thought, oh my gosh, how do I pick, every experience is just so unique and so special. And so I love that you chose that one, Millie, because I think that is so sweet. I think my one that really stands out for me is, just when you see, I had a particular birth mom come from a homeless situation, and then being here over time, it wasn't a long time, but, for that time period, it was so critical for her to gain skills and gain a different perspective of life. There had been drug use involved and in her past, and really wanted to get away from that life and get away from those circumstances. And so being able to, she completely changed she would save some of the money that she would get so that she could fix her teeth, so that her appearance would be different, so that when she went to a job interview, she was able to present herself in the way that she wanted to be presented, not because of anyone else's expectation, but because of that's what she wanted. And then to kind of like further her education, she would save money again to get a laptop for herself so that she could do work on that school and have that experience. And how just to see that, I'll cry, just to see like her self-love, finally like be something that was important to her. I feel like she got space to just think about herself. And in fact, that's one of the things that she had said is, I've never been able to just stop and think about the choices that I want, because everything had been so survival, living on the streets, and like there's the hierarchy of needs, right? And the bottom one is physical, and you have to take care of your physical needs. Where's shelter and where's food? And once those things are relieved by being here with the agency that will take care of them and provide those things for them, she was just able to like actually think, what do I want my life to be like? I haven't thought about that for years because it was so survival based. And so then to see like just the transformation of her like feeling free finally for a moment in I don't know how many years that she had felt that. Was so awesome to witness and be a part of, because it was her choices. It would be really easy to just come and let a guardian angel kind of take care of those physical needs for her and then go back to what life was like. It's really easy for all of us to go back to what's normal, even if it's unhealthy, but she chose not to. And I was so humbled by her and so amazed by her, and just the self-love that she finally was able to feel for herself for the first time in forever. It was awesome to witness and be a part of.
It is beautiful. I love that. And it's like we want their lives to change for the better through this experience, right? Not worse. We want to give them the tools to better their lives from here on out, and have this placement be a positive experience. A new trajectory for where they're going. And
I do hear that from so many of our birth moms too. That's my favorite line, and so many of them have said that to me, is I feel like this is a fresh start. And I'm just like so relieved when I hear that. It's so beautiful to hear that, and they get a minute to just have a fresh start, because they do want better for themselves. They do want better for their lives. They do want circumstances to be different for their other children in their home. They love them. They love these children that are currently in their home, and they love this baby that they're placing. They just want to have the opportunity to finally be able to have some resources and some help to be able to do that. And so I love when I hear from them that this is a fresh start.
That's amazing. Are there any like miracle moments that you guys can think of where everything seemed to align for these expectant moms?
I can't think of.
It's kind of a repeat question.
I think I was going to say. Well, no, I think I had one just recently. It was amazing.
Okay.
We had a situation where an adopted family was chosen, and because of a lot of background circumstances, it didn't work out for them. And so our birth mom, I had to go through that heartbreak of, we need to have you choose a different
And
family.
she had already had the baby, right?
Yes, she had already delivered.
Such a vulnerable position.
It was
to
day
already be
2,
in.
like we were going to sign,
Mhm.
and I had to go in before then and say, look, this is not happening.
Wow.
This isn't the family.
This isn't the family for this baby. And it was amazing though, because once, with your help, Maddie, we were able to provide her with this other list of families that really wanted her and that really wanted this baby. And to be able to like watch her be so confused at first, and then to just really come to the understanding that this is the family for this baby. It was so amazing to watch her, and just to realize like it was God led, it was, or whatever perspective you want to take. It was his involvement, it was the family's involvement, it was her, it was for the baby, whatever the circumstances were. There's so many different pieces that are involved, but that she was, made for this family, and that this baby belonged to be with, was meant to be with this family. And for her to then come around, because that was really vulnerable, to be in a position where it's like, I've already delivered,
And bonded with this family.
Can I trust you?
Yeah.
And can I trust the agency
And
to
a new
like
family?
Yes, and a new family, to put myself in that
thoughts and
situation.
emotions to
But it
process.
was a miracle.
And it
It
came
was
together.
a miracle that it all came together, and she's the cutest little baby in the whole world. She
Yeah.
is just gorgeous and
Yeah.
beautiful, and she's mom's doing great.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that very well.
Yes, you do.
It wasn't very long ago, but all of their journeys are different. Like, some of them are smooth sailing, and a lot of them aren't. A lot of them are roller coaster rides, and they don't go as planned. And we have, that doesn't happen very often, where a family doesn't work out,
No.
but it always ends up exactly how it's supposed to.
Yeah.
And the right family
Yeah.
came, and it all worked out exactly how it was supposed to.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is after they've chosen a family, to kind of ask them, like, so what made you choose
Yeah.
this family?
Yeah.
And it's so awesome that they kind of say the same thing. I just looked at them and I knew.
Yeah.
I knew.
Something's kind of stuck
Yeah.
out, and they
Yeah.
and then I feel like after the family's chosen, that's that kind of that peace, that almost relief, where they
Yeah.
know where
Yeah.
baby's going, and they chose the family
Yeah.
for a reason, and it's just a
sense
comforting.
of closure almost,
Yeah,
right?
and it's just like more, such a big unknown is like, who's gonna take care of my baby, and where is he or she gonna go? And once that piece is in place, I think it helps.
Oh, it's such a relief, I think,
Yeah.
for so many of
I
them.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see that a little bit, like a little glimpse of it, the difference with them not having a family and then picking a family,
Yeah.
because they tell me when they pick
Yes.
a family,
Yeah.
and the lightness
Yeah.
when they've chosen, and they're so relieved and just so happy about it. It's so awesome.
It is. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I
Mhm.
love that. That's my favorite time to meet with them too. Is just after
Talk
they've
about it,
chosen.
yeah.
Why did you choose them?
Yeah.
Tell me about them.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, because it's little miracles every time.
It really is. Everything aligns, and
Yeah.
I really feel like in every situation, I don't feel like there's one where they're kind of like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I chose them. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I saw this. I read this. I heard that about them. But, it's something that just,
Such a connection. Yeah.
it's meant to be.
And if they don't feel the connection, then they'll, as get new profiles
Yeah.
to choose from. Like, we want to make sure, of course, that it's the perfect fit
Yeah, we want them to love
the
their
family.
families.
Yeah.
That's like so important. It's one of the most important parts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you wish more people knew about women choosing adoption?
I wish that they knew that this is, like, we've said it so many times already, but I wish that they knew that this is a loving decision, that this is a sacrifice decision, that this is, it's not a flippant decision.
And this
It's
is
not
not easy.
something that's just like, oh, well, I guess I'll do this. I mean, they're going through a pregnancy for 10, let's be honest, it's 10 months.
Yeah.
It's 10 months.
Lying about the 9 months.
I know. Whoever's
Lying
lying
to
was 9. That they are going through this for 10 months.
Yeah.
Feeling that baby grow and move, and it's never an easy decision. It's
Right.
never like, oh, well, I guess I'll just have the baby and move on with life. This decision is so critical and so important to them that they are thinking of everyone involved. They're thinking of, like I said before, their other children. They're thinking of their circumstances, what they're able to provide, that they are loving their family so much that this is why they're choosing adoption. That for no other reason, that they're here to have this adoption journey, this adoption placement, because they love this baby so much. And of anything, I think that I would love them to understand is the sacrifice, the humility, the love that these women have is incredible.
Yeah. And sometimes they're doing it without the support of their family. Their family's not supportive of the adoption. And we just, try to reiterate that it's your decision, you're the birth mom. And if other people's opinions are negative, that's kind of a hard conversation to have, but just that it is their decision. And sometimes it's not with the support of their family even, which would be really tough. But it is about the love for the baby to better their situation.
Yeah.
So,
They're amazing.
Okay, so what kind of post-placement support do we offer birth moms?
counseling visits. So before they leave the hospital, me and Summer will get counseling referrals using their zip code from
in their
wherever,
state,
in their state.
Okay, so
In
you
their
help
area.
set up counseling through
We'll give them
somebody
referrals,
else, right?
yes.
Not through you guys.
Not through us, yes. Someone close to them, geographically, use their zip code, and the agency pays for at least 3 visits. I always say if you need more, that
always.
that's available, but at least 3 paid visits for
Okay.
a mental health therapist, and then post-placement coordinator through the agency stays in really good contact with the mom and the adoptive family, making sure that she gets what she needs. Yeah. If it's kind of every couple months or every week at the beginning, Katie, our post-placement coordinator, navigates that
Really well.
really well.
And
Yeah.
she's such a huge advocate for them and making sure that things go exactly as they want. Like even in our openness agreement that Millie and I fill out for them, if Katie will always say, if that changes, tell us. Let us know.
If you need more, if you need less,
it's okay. And even though it's a document and we sign, and sometimes that's scary. Like, okay, well, I signed it. I guess that's the end. It's like, no. You can work on. It's a starting point for your openness agreement. And I think we really try and reiterate how important counseling is for them, and how we've provided that small resource while they've been here, which is adoption related, but they may have more grief and experiences that they need to talk through. They may have family situations that they need to talk through. And so we provide that resource for them in their area. And I always say, like, if the names that I gave you, there's only a few, if the names I gave you didn't work out, then tell us, call me, text me, and I'll get you some.
You can see whoever you want.
Yes. You can see if they're, because some will say, oh, I've worked with a counselor in the past. Can I see them? Of course you can. We just want to make sure that is provided for them. So,
and making sure they have support people at home. We'll talk about who can you talk to at home. Do you have, mom, sister, friend, birth father, whatever, some sort of support circle.
Yeah.
Again, trying to set them up for success. We're not just done once they've signed that
I
paperwork.
think sometimes that's probably I want to say myself, like a selfish side of me, that's the saddest part of our job as a little bit, because I feel like we're kind of a reminder, at least Millie and I feel like we're kind of a reminder for like a very hard, very sad moment in their experience. Their caseworkers stay in really good contact with them. I know over the years, for a long time, I know I'm always going to them, how are they doing? Because for me, when I reach out, sometimes it's kind of like they don't want that interaction as much anymore from on my side, but because it's a little bit of a reminder of a really sad, hard, difficult moment. And so, like I said, so that's a selfish comment for me, that I wish we had a little bit more interaction with them after they leave. But I know that they're in good hands by the resources that we have given them. I know they're in great hands with Katie, who provides that post-placement care for them.
What do you think makes a guardian angel's approach to birth moms care unique?
I feel like we are there from day one till forever.
Yeah, I was gonna say
There's not an end
There's
date.
not an end point. No,
It's from the very, very beginning, from when they call. our birth mom line and they talk to that initial person, that kind of introduces what we do, what the care we're able to provide. Like I think I've heard from some of our birth moms, like we really do want to take care of them. It's not just that we're, we provide the housing and groceries and their appointments for them. We make sure that they're in good hands with their medical care, above and beyond, in my opinion, of what, you can get otherwise. It's not like they get dropped off at the doctor and good luck and we'll see you soon. Our case managers stay with them at their appointments.
So they're not alone.
They're never alone. They always have an advocate. They always have somebody, because sometimes that's really scary to like have them speak some of the things that they've experienced or gone through. So that advocate of our case managers are able to provide that care for them and that walk every step of those medical appointments with them.
Take notes.
Yes.
Follow up with medications, pick up prescriptions. If they're low in something, make sure that they get follow up. Yeah.
Everything. It's from the very beginning phone call of that emotional support of I'm thinking about placing, to getting them here, getting them to feel safe in a beautiful place, in a beautiful environment where they can finally just rest and be okay, to not have those, like I said, those physical needs, not have to worry about those things. And then from the emotional care that we hopefully will be able to provide for them, to like every physical need that they need met as well, until the very until their delivery. And then even after, like we've talked about, that doesn't end. I always say my number's not changing, I'm not going anywhere. So always feel free to call and let me know if you need anything.
And just the legal side of things, which we've touched upon, I'm always just really impressed with the way that the agency and the director handles any sort of legal. It's not like, well, maybe. It's very accurate, and it's having the birth mom's best interest at heart, and just making sure that they have all their legal
and everything is going according as it needs to.
And if we have
birth father, we're not trying to sneak around birth father laws, or we're not trying to sneak around.
I have a situation right now with the birth father issue, just for the state where conception was, and it's not an easy process, but the agency, I feel like, is going above and beyond with our lawyer to make sure that we get the information that we need, so that it doesn't interfere with the adoption, or it doesn't, make the agency like, well, we just didn't do this part of the law. It's all, I've always been really impressed with the way that the director handles anything legal.
And the attorneys that we work with
are
so knowledgeable about.
And we've talked to them
every state, not just
times about a birth father's what's legal. And I don't know if every adoption agency does that. I probably not, but I love. I'm proud to work for an agency that does. That values that.
Always. Yeah. I never feel like there's anything that isn't answered
for
them, or like there's never cutting corners. There's never, well, we'll deal with that later. It's like, no, from the very beginning, let's figure this out. Let's make sure that everything is gone according as it needs to, legally, ethically, emotionally, physically, like everything is met.
I truly have the birth mom's best interest. I feel like I really do feel like that way.
Always.
Yeah, and you guys do such a good job at that too. Like you are an important role in that happening.
We do our best. We do our best.
Amazing.
We love what we do. That makes it easier for sure.
It does, yes. Okay, I have 3 questions that I ask every person who comes on the podcast. I'm going to ask you guys. One of them we talked about a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so what's something unique about you that not very many people know?
Ooh. Well,
as embarrassing as
this is really random, but okay. So I love Halloween. I love.
I do too.
I love spooky season.
So do I.
I love crafting. So so one, like 2 to 3 years ago, I made a haunted dollhouse.
And
gosh,
that's fun.
and made all that we did, just the whole thing, made everything look spooky, and then entered it into the Utah State Fair, which was fun, and won a few awards. So that's kind of a little hidden secret.
I love that.
It's dollhouse.
It's a little bit weird.
It's a little bit a lot weird.
I love it.
But it's like, I put like trees on the outside, spider webs, and so it's in my garage. I'll have to bring it in.
I wish you would have told us about it. I would have came to see it.
I know.
For you. Won anyways.
But it was just like a fun little hobby that and it was actually, my dad was like, they have a like that entry for the state fair. I was like, okay. So that's kind of
that's
cute.
cool. Oh, I love that. That is so fun.
Well,
mine's not as fun.
As I had 5 kids in 4 years. My triplets they just turned 4, and then I had my youngest a couple months later. So that was kind of crazy for a long time.
Triplets by itself is unique.
That's
very unique.
I guess that's something different, right?
Yeah.
Explains our fertility journey that I had mentioned earlier. When I found out when we went to our ultrasound to see like how our in vitro worked, the nurse was like, so how many embryos did you guys put in? And we were like, 3. Because it was a 2% chance that like all 3 would take. It was 50% that one would take. And so we were like, of course, shove them in, like dumb. Anyway, I'm like, oh, they could have split. Like that was really stupid of us.
Can you imagine?
But we got 3, and so we were so happy. So one thing I want people to know about me is I'm actually a fun person. Like my life looks very boring. I like live in my car, taking my kids here and there. But I'm pretty fun. Give me a good dance party.
Of course, every mom has that.
Yeah.
That life.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
we
true.
can help
I'm fun.
I'm still
I just
fun.
went to a concert this weekend with my friends. That was so fun.
It is so fun.
Danced and did the whole thing. So
I
yeah,
love
give me a
that.
disco ball, a dance party, and I'm good.
I love that.
Perfect.
Okay, we kind of already talked about this one, but my second question is, what's your favorite form of self-care? And you
Yoga.
guys kind of touched on that.
Yeah.
Yoga.
Yeah, I think prayer for me for sure,
Mhm.
and then like I said, a good Netflix series.
Yeah.
Binge moment.
A good Netflix binge with a sweet drink.
Yeah,
Well,
there
my
you go.
next question is, what's your favorite comfort movie or show? So,
Oh,
what do you like to
okay.
binge on Netflix?
Well, there was a series a couple years ago that's called Heart of Dixie, I think,
Uh-huh.
and I loved that. I
Okay.
love those kind of shows.
Uh-huh.
Just like it's so different than like I've grown up in Utah, and so that is such a different like environment. It's just
Yeah.
like North Carolina, South Carolina, like that kind of feel.
Mhm.
That's not where Heart of Dixie was, obviously, but I think I love that show. I love it.
I've never
And
seen that.
Date.
I
Oh, you
haven't
got
either.
it.
I
It's
love
so good.
Okay.
It's so good, yes. But I mean, The Notebook.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love The Notebook.
Or
Date night.
Like,
Okay.
But I love Date Night, yes.
Okay.
Date Night with Steve Carell is
That
like
is
one of my
a
very
fun
favorites.
one. Yes.
It's just that moment when they're talking about like a fantasy, and she just says, you know what my fantasy is? Just sitting in a hotel room by myself with a Diet Sprite. And I'm like, isn't that every
Relatable.
mom's fantasy?
Yeah.
Like, I don't fantasize about other things. I just sometimes want to sit and drink my drink.
Self-care. Self-care.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh, I don't watch a lot of shows anymore. I don't know. I go to bed too early. I used to be stay up, watch shows, and now I'm like, I'd rather go to bed. But we watch a lot of Dodger baseball. That's
Oh, okay.
always on.
Okay.
And it's like April to October. So
Yes.
that's constantly on. But I would say like movie, for some reason I love Matilda. I know that's so random. But it's like the Trunchbull, the whole thing. I just love, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Whenever
like
it's on, I'm like, ooh, Matilda. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I'll scroll, oh, that's what I want to watch. So
It's like
that's,
one of those nostalgic.
yeah.
I just saw
love it.
that at what's that theater called in St. George?
Oh, okay.
What's that called?
Yeah, I know
The
yes.
play.
Oh, the play.
Tuacahn.
Yes.
Yes, I just saw Matilda.
Yeah.
At Tuacahn. It was so
See, yeah.
cute.
I saw it on,
My kids
yeah.
love it.
It's so good.
I love
That's
that
so
they
fun.
love something I grew up with.
Yeah.
Because most of the time they don't.
Well, yeah, and my kids like, what did you used
Yeah.
to watch? And so we'll like watch old movies.
Yeah, the oldies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's not old. That was 95. And you're like, yeah, do you know how old that is?
I know. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys,
Thank
for
you.
being here
Thank
and
you.
sharing your hearts and our intentions here with expectant moms and just how much we love and care for them. Hopefully,
course.
you can go and binge some today.
Yeah, right.
And what was yours?
Yoga.
Matilda. Oh, and yoga.
Matilda.
Yeah. Yeah. Go watch Matilda
Go do
do
some
yoga
yoga.
class.
Yoga.
Get some self-care today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today. Adoption is very personal and looks different to each family. We love to hear about your own personal experiences and stories. Please email us your story at info@aguardianangel.com, and your story might be featured in a future episode. If you like what you've heard today, please leave a review and help us spread the word by sharing this podcast with your loved ones. Speaking of Adoption drops every Tuesday. Subscribe today so you never miss a single episode. Speaking of Adoption is brought to you by at Guardian Angel Adoptions. If you or someone you know is experiencing unplanned pregnancy and you need to talk or get unbiased advice, our friendly and helpful staff is available to talk 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on holidays. If you need help, guidance, legal advice, or otherwise, please don't hesitate to text us at 206-360-0020 or call us at 855-402-6435. You can also visit our website at aguardianangel.com. We look forward to speaking about adoption with you next week.